Live. What's going on, everyone? Thank you all so much for tuning in at this time. Everybody that's here, greatly appreciate it. Anybody watch this on the replay, thank you so much. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Well, day 3 turned out to be the luck charm, right? You know, third time's the charm. It's what we got with the Lakers. Landed DeAndre Ayton, huge pickup, right? Not only does it solve the center position, but has the potential to solve the center position for the next 6+ years. I mean, genuinely, Lakers might have landed their franchise center for the foreseeable future. Obviously, a lot of things have to go right for that to happen. There's a lot of big question marks about DeAndre Ayton. Love the pickup, right? He is by far the most talented player that the Lakers could have gotten center-wise. Even via trade, you can make that argument, right? The upside and potential on him is insane. And I really do believe that there is still untapped potential in him, but it's just he's one of those guys that unfortunately hasn't been able to get out of his own way. Right? He's one of those guys that just lacks the motor and motivation and just he wants to be a gamer and do all this other stuff, and it's like you're a professional basketball player, right? And so there is definitely hurdles that need to get across. But I do think the Lakers are one of the best situations for him to kind of get him past that, right? His best time was playing alongside Chris Paul. Well, now imagine what he's going to be alongside Luka, who is always looking for that outlet. Always. Talk about it all the time. Luka's style of play. He likes to create that dribble penetration, collapse the defense, and have that outlet. Right? He's always looking for that roll man, that cutter, that lob threat. And if DeAndre Ayton is playing his role, hitting his spots, doing what he's supposed to do, he's a guy that's going to eat. He's going to eat a lot. And he's a guy that, the biggest reason why I think he's a guy that still has a ton of untapped potential is because he's a guy that has lacked motor, right? Lacked motivation, lacked, just the love of the game in a lot of ways. And he's still an 18-10 guy. What happens if he buys in? What happens if he actually is motivated? What happens if he plays both sides of the basketball? What happens if he really shows what he can be? There's never been more motivation for him than there is right now, because again, you just had a team that's not been great over the last few years, would rather cut you and get rid of you than try to trade you for even like a second round pick. Right? All the reports are that the Portland Trailblazers were basically sick of him. Right? And he had the same issues in with the Phoenix Suns, and you see it, right? You have players that just they can't get out of their own way, and eventually teams get sick of it. He's not Nikola Jokic. If he was Jokic decides, hey, I'm not going to go to practice today. Guess what Denver's saying? Don't worry about it, buddy. Sorry we even bothered you today, right? Like, you know what? Take the week off, right? Like, because it's Nikola Jokic. He's the best player in all of basketball. But DeAndre Ayton, he's not there, right? He's a guy that, wasn't that long ago that the general consensus was like, dude, this guy might be one of the best centers in all of basketball in like 3 years. And he just went the other direction. So if he buys in, if he stays focused, if he can lock in, and look, he's got guys like LeBron, like Luka alongside him. JJ Redick even is a guy that, no nonsense, right? Lakers have the foundation, I believe, around him. It's one of the reasons why I really want Al Horford also. I know Lakers are working on the trade, and I'll touch on that trade here in a moment, and then we'll get in all the comments, all the super chat questions, all the regular chat questions. So, keep sending in your comments and super chat stuff. But, you look at Al Horford, I think he could do wonders for a guy like DeAndre Ayton, just to have that veteran that's in there and kind of take Ayton under his wing. He's a big man, so he gets some of the frustrations that come with being a big man, maybe not getting as many touches one night or whatever, right? To just have a guy that, hey, look, I've won a championship. I've been a center. I understand your frustrations. I've been in your spots, right? Like, I really do think it'd be nice to kind of get that vet to help an Ayton along the way. But no, I'm excited, right? Lakers need to do something about the defense, though, right? I have some real genuine concerns about the Lakers defense because, Luka, Austin Reaves, Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, and DeAndre Ayton. You're the best offensive team in all of basketball, without a doubt. I think Lakers are going to be putting up like insane numbers, right? They'll probably during the regular season, they'll probably win 55 games and they'll probably be, a top 3 seed at worst, right? But I worry about come playoff time, right? Playoffs is not the same thing as the regular season. You can outscore teams in the regular season. It's kind of hard to do that 7 times, or 4 times in a playoff series, let alone 16 times over the course of a regular season, and especially when games get tight and you need to get stopped. So Lakers definitely need to upgrade the wing, but I also think that landing DeAndre Ayton puts the Lakers now in a position to where they can go and make other moves and other trades for other things. Where before Lakers had to go trade for a center. Well, guess what? You don't have a center. The prices are skyrocketing, right? Like you want a center, you're desperate. Guess what? It's going to be double what it would usually be, right? Well, now the Lakers have 8. So now that opens up, and now you can enter these conversations for things of like, hey, we don't need this, but we want it, right? Something that we want, it's not something that we need. Where before it was like you need this, and those kind of things are the differences. So I'm really excited to see that, but to kind of pivot into the potential trade, I did a whole video on it, so I won't go too in depth into it to kind of break it down. But basically, they're trying to expand the Houston Rockets trade for Kevin Durant. So the Phoenix Suns and Houston Rockets trade. We'll see how much of it is kind of just paper, right? Because there's talks about the Lakers might only, the only element of the Lakers being a part of it might just be them getting the 36th pick, which they already done, kind of get that finalized, which essentially would just be paper, right? Just essentially be a paper trade in that regard. There's been a lot of talks about like this kind of is basically a bunch of teams that all did deals that they're kind of just putting all into one package to kind of sort things out. But you have some teams that weren't involved in that stuff, right? So I'm curious to see how this plays out. Like, I don't think it's going to be, I don't know about the Lakers side of things. Obviously, again, I'm not an insider, just a fan, but my guess is that there's going to be, like, the Warriors weren't involved in any of those random trades. So the Warriors have to be getting something. So that means there has to be other moving parts that weren't there, right? That are going to be new in this element. What are those? Who knows? We'll see, right? Also, I think the most likely thing to happen for the Lakers is the Dorian Finney-Smith sign and trade. And it's something I've talked about very heavily. Even after, the talks of, they're doing the trade and all that stuff, I still said, hey, don't be shocked if in the end they end up doing the Dorian Finney-Smith sign and trade, because it just opens up things for the Rockets and allow them to kind of, keep some cap space and make some adjustments and maybe bring in another guy, so on and so forth, right? So chances are that I think that's probably what we're looking forward to for the Lakers. And there's kind of, as this story's developed, kind of been more and more people that have kind of came out and been like, that's probably what the Lakers are getting, is like a Cam Whitmore, Jock Lindell, which would be amazing for the Lakers. Obviously, Cam Whitmore gives you that, gives you that 3-and-D wing. On top of getting you that 3-and-D wing, Jock Lindell arguably might be the most important piece right now, because he gives you an $8 million non-guaranteed contract that you can either trade and flip into something, like add him and like a Shake Milton, and that's $11 million and just, non-guaranteed money that a team could just waive. Add in like a Dalton Connect or something, you might be able to go get a $15 to $17 million guy, right? And add another high-end piece. So that could be hugely beneficial for the Lakers. Plus, you get a young guy in Cam Whitmore that has plenty of upside. Can they get a Nick Richards in the deal and kind of solve a young athletic wing as well as a Nick Richards who gives them just a young, backup center that can slot in and play a role, right? So we'll see. Again, always keep in mind, all this stuff is speculatory until it actually gets done, right? All of this, this could easily fall through and it just goes back to the normal trade, especially when you're talking 7 teams. 7 teams. It is hard enough to get just a one-on-one trade done, let alone end up getting 7 teams to all agree on various things. So if you're somebody that's like expecting this like huge, like insane thing, not saying it won't happen, but keep in mind, it's probably going to be a little more straightforward than we think. But I will say this: if the Lakers end up pulling off the sign and trade and end up with like Lindell and Whitmore, or Nick Richards and Whitmore, and on top of that, the Lakers ended up with DeAndre Ayton and Jake LaRavia, that might go down as the greatest fleece ever. So basically, you're turning Dorian Finney-Smith, who I love and I think is a huge hole you're missing out on. But you're telling me you turn Dorian Finney-Smith into Jock Lindell, Cam Whitmore. Well, Jock Lindell would either is getting waived or end up getting traded. But let's say Cam Whitmore, DeAndre Ayton, and Jake LaRavia, and maybe a Nick Richards. I mean, that talk about a fleece. And like if you trace it back, you essentially turn 3 seconds D'Angelo Russell, who was leaving anyway, and going to Dallas, right? So basically a guy that was leaving you anyway, 3 second-round picks, and Maxwell Lewis, who I liked, but that for potentially Cam Whitmore, maybe a Nick Richards, a DeAndre Ayton, and a Jake LaRavia. It's pretty good. It's pretty good fleece. But anyway, let's get into all the super chat questions, all the regular chat questions. I see a bunch of you here. I really appreciate it. I know it's getting kind of late. So I appreciate you. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I had to do a live stream. It was too big of a day to not do a live stream. So we're here. So I'll probably go about an hour. So probably go about another 50 minutes or so. But let's get into it. Easy peasy. Coming hot with the $2 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I love Whitmore. Would be nice fit at the 3. I would love Whitmore too. Like Cam Whitmore is one of those guys. 1, he's the guy the Lakers probably should draft. 2, Cam Whitmore, I mean, he's everything the Lakers need. Young, athletic, versatile, 3-and-D wing who already has shown all the signs you want, but has a world of upside and potential. Like Cam Whitmore has star potential. Will he ever reach it? Will he ever be that? I mean, who knows, right? But he checks off all the boxes for the potential of like, hey, this is a guy that could end up being, Luka's co-star, right? Him and Luka just tearing up the league together, right? Because again, he's very athletic. He's very good defensively when he's locked in. I've seen people be like, oh, well, he takes, hero shots and does all this other stuff, right? But it's like, do you blame him? The guy gets like 5 minutes a game randomly, inconsistently, all over the place, and usually like garbage time. Like, why wouldn't you? It's like, this is my time to shine and prove that I can be a player, right? Like, why wouldn't he go out and take as many shots as he can possibly take in that time? Why wouldn't he go and just kind of play a little hero ball? Because it's like, dude, I'm not playing in a role or rotate. I might as well not even be on the team, right? Where I think if he goes to a team like the Lakers, there's an argument you could start him at the 3, right? Because I mean, his defense is already there, and then his shooting, right, and then his ability to kind of do other things out there on the basketball court. I really like the idea of Cam Whitmore. I think he's a guy that would do wonders for this team, give you a ton of upside and potential, and it kind of fits what the Lakers are trying to do right now, right? They're trying to add all this young depth, talent. I mean, you look at the roster right now, unless they get Al Horford, the only guys like over 30, if I'm not mistaken, are LeBron James and Maxi Kleba, right? Like, so you're talking about like this team is young, they're athletic, or they're trying to get athletic. They got a couple young athletes, right? Definitely need to turn some players into athletes. So we'll see. I'm excited for it, but easy peasy. Thank you so much for super chat. So, all right, let's get into the regular chat till some more trickle in. Let's go. Need some Laker news. Yes. Hopefully tomorrow, new day. It's a little late now. I don't think anything will probably come through, but hopefully tomorrow we get some further news, right? Maybe that 17 gets finalized. That probably won't happen until the 6th. So we're probably, 3 days away, or 4 days away, 3.5 days, 3.1/10. I'm not familiar with Ayton's game. Is he a good rim protector? He's had his game. He's had his seasons. He has his moments. Again, a lot of it is just, it goes into like the motor part. He's not like elite. Like if you're looking for him to be Anthony Davis defensively, you're going to be disappointed. But is he a guy that can, block shots and protect the rim and be a deterrent? Sure. It's up to his commitment. He has all the tools. He has the size, the strength, the athleticism. I mean, the guy's a hyper athlete. He's like a 43.5-inch vertical. Like the guy can be a good defensive player. But He's not a guy that like you want anchoring your defense. Is basically what I'm getting at, right? But again, you never know how things will shape up when you're in a winning environment in particular, right? Example that I use all the time is like PJ Washington. Nobody was talking about PJ Washington as a defensive player, right? He was just a solid bucket getter, right? And then he goes to Dallas and was literally their defensive anchor. He was like excellent defensively for them and still has been. And this is a guy that people thought, even the numbers said he was a bad defender. Like nobody, like people were thought, oh, he's cone on defense. And then he went to a team that was in a winning environment, winning situation that, put that you look at and go like, okay, I need to do my part. Right? It's kind of hard when you're on a bad team and you're losing by 20 every night. And it's like, I need to be defensive anchor and I need to do this. And so he had some years with the Suns where he was good defensively. But again, he's not a guy that if you're looking for him to be like, Victor Wembanyama out there, you're probably going to be disappointed. We're staying up late with this one, definitely. I mean, I'm definitely saying it'll be 2 a.m. by the time I'm done with this live stream where I'm at. So yeah, it's definitely. But I had to do a live stream. I was actually going to do the live stream, and then we got the news about the 7-game trade. I actually made the thumbnail and everything, was going to set up the stream, and then I got the notification about the 7-team trade, and I was like, damn. So I made that video, posted that video, and I was like, I don't want to like just go live because it'll kill that video. So I was like, all right, I got to give it like 2 hours. And now that I don't live in LA and Vegas and stuff anymore, and I moved, it's it's tough. It's tough. But I do it for you. I do it for all of you. And I'm glad we got people in here. It's another good stream. We got, over 500 people in the stream, so it's worth it. But Tyler's always on the grind, man. Keep it up, brother. I'm so glad we finally got something done, man. I was so anxious about us getting Ayton. I can't breathe. I can breathe now. Yeah. Look, like I said, I personally thought, and I tried to make it clear that it was just my personal thoughts, that the Lakers already knew. Again, Lakers made decisions that looked like they knew Ayton was coming and how much they were going to pay him for. Right? I mean, I even said he's going to sign a 2-year, $16 million deal with a player option. And what did he sign? A 2-year, $16.6 million deal. So I was off by 0.6, but with a player option, right? Everything the Lakers did signaled that they knew he was coming, right? It just like the signing Jake LaRavia made no sense unless you knew he was coming. You could have waited for that. You could have signed Ayton to a full mid-level and probably signed Jake LaRavia regardless. Lakers have at least another signing with the biannual exception. Then they need to make a trade to bring in 1 or 2 useful rotation pieces. Yeah, Lakers are definitely at least 1, if not 2 more signings. And then on top of that, you're probably looking at, my guess is it'll probably be, if they don't pull off a trade for a backup center, then it'll probably be something like Al Horford and like DeAnthony Melton, right? Because they still have real interest in DeAnthony Melton. And then the Lakers might make a trade I could see them making a trade for a piece or 2. And then that could maybe require them to bring in somebody else. So we'll see. Maybe bring in like a Malcolm Brogdon or something. But yeah, I mean, there's more. There's definitely going to be more moves. Like bare minimum, they have to sign at least 1 or 2 more guys. So bare minimum, we're going to at least get another signing. But I think the Lakers will end up pulling off a trade and stuff. But the good thing is that the DeAndre Ayton trade allows you to breathe, right? Like, Gaming was saying, right? That, I can finally breathe now, right? Like the Lakers now don't have that, like the pressure that they had previously, right? It allows them, like, even like, again, I'm really concerned about the Lakers defense, but I don't think you'll have a problem with that during the regular season. So, if you can find something now, then get it done now. If you can go get an Andrew Wiggins or something like that, then do it now. But if you have to wait and be patient, then you can wait and be patient. Right. Once you start, like, you go sign a DeAnthony Melton and Al Horford, and then you got Jake LaRavia and DeAndre Ayton, right? Like, now you've done enough to where you're gonna be very good. Lakers are probably going to be one of the best teams in all of basketball. You're going to have a healthy, motivated, hungry Luka Doncic ready to flip the bird to everybody. Right? Like, Lakers are going to be very good next year, right? Permitting health, right? That's the big knock. But everything But now what it does is it allows you to kind of take your time on some of the key areas, right? Now you don't need to go rush to go do X, Y, and Z, which I think is important. But where would you rank Melton, Laravia, Connect, Vando, Nick Richards bench among the rest of the league if that happens? It has the potential to be one of the best, right? Melton, the problem is there's a lot of questions with all of those guys, right? So DeAnthony Melton, what does he look like coming back from the ACL tear? Right? If he's back to being what he was with the Warriors, then he's going to be great for the Lakers, right? Maybe even better because he's playing alongside Luka and LeBron. So he's the threes that the quality of shots he's going to get are going to be insane, right? Jake LaRavia was looking very good. Like he looked like he was breaking out with Sacramento and then fractured his finger, right? Can he kind of replicate what he did with Sacramento? Right? I'm not saying he's going to average 18 off the bench, but can he, can he kind of continue to show those signs that we saw in that Sacramento game, right? If that's something that happens, then, again, that elevates. What does Dalton Connect look like in year 2? If Dalton Connect really starts taking some strides, becomes more consistent, and then, better defensively, again, that becomes, there is a version where that bench is one of the best in all of basketball. There's a version of that where it's not very good because DeAnthony Melton isn't what he was pre ACL tear. Dalton Connect hasn't improved very much and is a liability defensively. Jared Vanderbilt gives you nothing on offense. Nick Richards, I think, would be solid either way just because, the type of role he's playing is what he's comfortable with. But Jake LaRavia, what if he's not, what if that was just a moment he had rather than kind of him heading in the right direction? So it's kind of hard to tell until you start seeing them on the court together. And it also depends on how are you mixing them in? Because I don't imagine that they're just going to go with those 5 out there all running their own, right? Like how do these guys play off of Luka? How do these guys play off of LeBron? How do these guys play off of Austin Reaves? Right? Like all of those things. There's just a lot of factors in it. But on paper, it would be a very good bench, right? There's the potential that Lakers could have one of the better benches, which would be a far cry from last year because Lakers had one of the worst benches in all of basketball. Cypher coming out $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Seriously, I really appreciate that. Hey, Tyler, haven't been able to catch any streams lately because life is keeping me busy. Hey, better be busy than bored, right? So, I believe it. I feel it. I get it. And I appreciate you being here. But loving all the videos. Do you think Ayton can get out of his head and accept his role? I hope so because he's got the talent. So, again, first off, really appreciate you. Secondly, I get it. Life happens, right? So anytime I can see you in the streams, I appreciate it. I always see you in the comments and stuff too. So I am very thankful. I try to get to as many comments as possible. It's hard sometimes, right? But as far as Ayton getting out of his head, can he? Yes, it's up to him, right? Like Lakers present everything you need for DeAndre Ayton to be great. You're playing alongside Luka, who is always going to be looking for you in everything that he does. Because that's his favorite outlet. Like LeBron likes the weak side corner 3 because he drives left and if they collapse, he kicks it out to that corner, right? Like every guy kind of has their own, like their favorite target, right? And Luka's favorite target is that roll man, that lob, that dunker spot lob threat. And DeAndre Ayton is a guy that is incredible in both those. You talk about a hyper athlete. Dude, he literally has a 43.5-inch vert. He is a hyper athlete. This is a guy that can jump through the gym. You can run pick and pop action. You can run pick and roll action. And you can have him just be the roll man and the lob threat. You have stability by having a veteran in LeBron James that he should respect. JJ Redick, no nonsense coach. Like he has everything he needs to put him in a position to have success. He doesn't even have to do much himself. Just hit your spots, hit your targets hard and right. Right? Luka wants you to be X, Y, and Z. You be there. You see all the time, right? Like a player cut, and you'll see LeBron or Luka just throws the ball out of bounds, and they're like screaming at the guy, right? And it's not because, they want to just blame him and not take accountability. It's because they're throwing the ball where that guy is supposed to be, right? So if I set a pick and then I roll and I just stop, if I'm LeBron, I don't know that you're just going to stop. So I'm going to feed the ball, or Luka, I'm going to feed the ball to where you're going to be if you continue to hit that hard, or if you go at the rate that you're supposed to go. If you slow down or stop, then now I'm the one that looks bad, right? So the reason I bring that up is because Ayton needs to make sure he is hitting his spots hard, right? If he sets that pick, good, sturdy, hard screen, if he's slipping, whatever he's doing, right? He needs to make sure he is doing that at 100% rate, right? Because at times he can be kind of a little lazy with it. His best years were with Chris Paul. Chris Paul made him look great. Luka's going to do the same thing, more so than Chris Paul. Because again, Luka's favorite outlet option will be DeAndre Ayton, right? It was Jackson Hayes prior, and you even saw at times in the Minnesota series where Luka had some struggles because he didn't have that outlet, because he likes to create that dribble penetration, defenses collapse, and then he throws it up. If you don't collapse, then I'm just shooting over the top and I'm torching you all game, right? So pick your poison. At some point, you're going to have to collapse. And especially when you have a guy like Ayton who can shoot the basketball, throw the little floaters and stuff, things that Jackson Hayes couldn't. So it's going to be even worse for teams where, like Jackson Hayes, they accounted for the roll, or they accounted for the lob threat, but he can't shoot outside of it. So they just blocked that off. And, Luka can't just dump it down to him because he can't score the basketball. We could just dump it down to Ayton and Ayton just go to work, right? Like, those things are the differences. So, again, the reason I mention this is because he is set up for success. He is set up in ways that he couldn't imagine to have success. On top of that, this might be his last chance. Like, genuinely, this might be his last chance. Right? Like, I don't think he'll be out of the league because he's too talented, but him ever getting a bag again, you can forget that. Him ever, being a key figure on an organization, you can forget that. Right? Like, a lot of things start to go away really quickly if this fails. Right? Like, this is his best chance to change his image. Right now, the perception is he's lazy, he's unmotivated, he doesn't want to work hard. He's a locker room issue, all that stuff. Keep your head down. Let Luka and LeBron make you look like the best center in basketball, and you'll get a bag. You'll be right back in the picture, especially if the Lakers are good, especially if the Lakers are winning. And imagine if the Lakers win the championship. Do you know what that would do for DeAndre Ayton in his career? Right? You want to talk about getting a bag? Now you're a championship center. And especially if you're putting up great stats and stuff. Right? Like, I think the Lakers is the best thing that could happen for him because of the spotlight, the players on the team itself, and him needing to motivate and prove himself. So anyway, I appreciate you, Cypher. Thank you so much for Super Chat. Carl, coming out the $5 Super Chat. Thank you so much. We need to add more defense in our starting lineup. We can't have Luka, AR, and LeBron guarding the perimeter. I need to do more so Luka can sign an extension in August. I am 100% with you. I don't know if you were here when I was talking about it earlier. My biggest fear right now is the lack of defense. The Lakers' defense is not great, right? I mean, literally, you're talking Luka Doncic, Austin Reaves, Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, and DeAndre Ayton. Your best defensive player is LeBron James. And, I mean, Lakers already had defensive issues. And DeAndre Ayton, he can be a good defensive center. He's had years where he's been good. He's actually had a year or two where he's actually really good. But not a guy that I would count on being, like, he's not going to be Anthony Davis defensively out there, right? Like, he's going to be kind of limited. So the problem becomes is that, like, my concern isn't the regular season, right? Talked about this, a couple years ago when the Lakers injected Rui Hachimura into the lineup, right? And the Lakers were 8-0, and everyone was talking about Lakers going to win the championship. And I said, what happens come playoff time when the Lakers, right, when they can't get stops and they run into a team that they can't stop and the offense dries up? And the Lakers ran through everybody and then got to Denver, and they couldn't stop Denver, and their offense dried up. And then you saw the same thing happen last year. I said the same thing last year. Right? I was like, yeah, this is great. What happens when the Lakers run into a Denver again and they can't get stops? When the offense was cooking, Lakers are up 20, right? And then as soon as that offense hits a wall, Denver comes running through, and then all of a sudden we lose, right? So during the regular season, I'm not really worried about, like, you can outscore teams in the regular season. Like, you can beat teams just on offense a lot of times during the regular season. And they're going to be elite offense. I mean, they're going to be probably far and away the best offense in basketball, but you got to be able to get stops come playoff time, right? Especially when games are tight, things are locked up. So Lakers are going to have to kind of upgrade, particularly out on the perimeter, get some defensive pieces, turn Rui Hachimura. Love Rui, but you don't need you needed him less even before you got Ayton. You need him even, I mean, it's almost a redundancy again at this point, because all of the offensive production that you get from Rui Hachimura, you're now going to get from DeAndre Ayton, right? Because he's going to be the role man. He's going to be Luka's favorite outlet, all of that. So I just think regardless, I think if you can, you turn Rui Hachimura into a defensive 3 and D Wayne. Try to go pick up another one or two. I wouldn't hate taking a flyer on a couple guys. Like I've talked about Amani Bates, right? Take a flyer on him, right? Young, athletic, 6'9", athletic, versatile, 3 and D guy. Shot, I think it was like 37% from 3 last season, right? And was actually very good defensively in limited minutes. Right, you're gonna have to be creative with the defense side. If you can get multiple pieces through trades, then yeah, get multiple pieces through trades. But you gotta try to solve some of these issues, some of these problems. But appreciate you. Thank you everyone for the super chats. All right, let's get back to the regular chat till some more trickle in here. And then I'll get back to answering those. There's no sign and trade for Dorian Finney-Smith. That's for Capella. No, so they worked out a sign and trade for Capella. They might do one for Dorian Finney-Smith as well. But like I said, we'll see. A lot of speculation right now with that. But they would benefit by doing a sign and trade with Dorian Finney-Smith. They'd actually benefit doing a sign and trade with Dorian Finney-Smith and not Atlanta and Clint Capella. But they could do it both. They're hard kept at the apron anyway. So I see a lot of people clowning us for getting Ayton. I mean, I hope the ball is out. Obviously, we're the Lakers to win, but to rub it in the hater's face. And Luka will make him look like prime Shaq. You know what's going to be funny? So right now, everyone's talking about how, Lakers suck. Luka sucks, right? He's a bum. Lakers just signed a bum. Watch when he is averaging 20 and like 12 and Luka's making him look fantastic. And Lakers are like one of the best teams in basketball. What's going to be hilarious is watching the narrative shift and everybody talking about how the Lakers stacked the deck and, oh my God, how many superstars does LeBron need? And oh my God, Luka's another LeBron. Look, he has the number 1 pick in his own draft. Where right now everyone's talking about how the Lakers are trash. Ayton isn't going to change anything. Ayton's trash, blah, 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 blah. Watch. I'm telling you, I give it like a month and you'll start to slowly see it. And then by like the trade deadline, you're going to hear about how the Lakers, the NBA's rigging it for the Lakers. That's why they got Luka and Ayton, and I can't wait. It's going to be great. It's so many teams involved. It scares me that we won't come away with something good. I mean, it's very possible. Like I said, I did a whole video breakdown on it. If you guys want kind of more details on it, go check out that video, after this live stream. But I even said in the video, don't be surprised if it's just the finalization of the 36th pick, right? That's what a lot of the reports were coming out originally, that's what it was going to be. Obviously, again, things can change. I would imagine it's going to be more because, again, there's teams that, like Warriors, like where do they fit in, right? Like, but don't be shocked if the Lakers don't come away with anything crazy, right? Hopefully they do. Hopefully they grab a piece or two or a player or two, but don't be shocked if it's something where it's like, oh man, the Lakers, all they did was finalize the 36th pick. So we'll see. Bro, the offense is actually so insane if Ayton clicks. 100%. Lakers will be by far the best offense in the league if Ayton works. I suspect we will sign Nick Richards or Al Horford. We can't. Nick Richards you have to trade for. But yeah, maybe they trade for Nick Richards and then or sign Al Horford. Look, I personally, unless you can get Nick Richards without giving up any like major assets, I personally would just sign Al Horford and use your assets to go solve other things. Tyler chat. Lakers summer league roster is loaded. Cole Swider is back. I saw that, Cole Swider. The Summer League Lakers legend. What's going on, Michael? Appreciate you being here. Where is Olivari? Yes, I know. Seriously, where is Olivari? Also not related, but congrats to Clayton Kershaw. Yeah, with 3,000 strikeouts. Watching the game reminded me of when Braun scored the record. Yeah, and they had like Clayton Kershaw Day and everything. It was awesome to see. We got our center. We absolutely did. I can't wait. 7-team trade just to end with cash considerations possibly. So the other side of that too could be Lakers could end up with a trade exception, which could be beneficial if the Lakers pull off a trade. So that's something to keep in mind too. So like more likely than not, again, obviously this could change, but I don't know. I'm not an insider, I'm just a fan. Keep that in mind. But based on kind of the information that's going around, it looks like the Lakers might just be the 36th pick. However, they might end up getting, if it kind of culminates all into one trade, the Lakers might end up getting a trade exception in that trade, which would be huge, right? Because that gives you now another piece that you can then go use to make a trade to match salaries or fill in or whatever, right? So just things like that to kind of keep in mind. But got a couple more super chats. Get back to those, and I'll get back to the regular chat. Miguel coming out, $2 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Lineup of Luka, AR, Braun, Vando, and DA. So I said this in a video earlier today. Is it the video I posted earlier today? I know I said it. I know I definitely repeated it in one of the videos that I'm posting tomorrow. But Lakers might have no choice but to start Vando because Rui. You don't need Rui with DeAndre Ayton, right? Because Ayton is a guy that can pick and pop. He can score. Ayton's going to give you probably 15 points a night, right? Like, or at worst, probably what Rui's giving you, which is 13. You need the defense, right? Between Luka, AR, Braun, and DeAndre Ayton, you have more than enough offense in your starting unit. You have to get some defense in there. And I think Jared Vanderbilt is your best defensive player, especially now that you lost Dorian Finney-Smith, that I think you Lakers, I don't think, are going to have a choice but to go with Vando in the starting unit. Personally, I'm right there with you. I think you're going to have to go with Vando, unless the Lakers, obviously if they end up trading for like a Wiggins or something like that, then, maybe that's who they end up going with. But unless that happens, based on where the roster stands right now, it has to be Jared Vanderbilt. I am right there with you. Dundada just came in. What trade do you think we're going to make? I'm on the fence on what the Lakers will actually. So I want the Lakers to just sign Al Horford and go trade for wing depth. However, I could see the Lakers going and trading for a center, right? Like a backup center, like a Nick Richards or something like that. Somebody that could provide a backup role. So I think if the Lakers don't sign Al Horford, they'll go trade for a backup center. Otherwise, I think they'll go trade for 3-and-D depth, right? Like, again, Andrew Wiggins, I think, could be an option. Even if it's like a Terrence Mann, right? Somebody like that. Like, in a perfect world, could you go get like a Herb Jones, right? Because he's young. I mean, he'd be another kind of foundation piece. He lines up perfectly with like Luka and DeAndre Ayton, right? Then you could have kind of Luka, Ayton as like, and Herb Jones as like your foundation going forward, like bare minimum. My guess is Lakers probably get a starting three, like a more defensive two-way starting three, and maybe a backup center, right? And then kind of cool it until the trade deadline, and then try to make little minor upgrades and stuff around the edges. Is my guess of what happens, right? But appreciate you. Kevin, coming out of the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Chris Boucher still out there. We should get him a long athletic wing. What about a trade? Maxi Kleba, Shake, first for Brooks and Richards. Dylan Brooks and Richards. Maxi Gabe Shake and a first for Brooks and Richards. I wouldn't hate it. Because, I mean, you get a 3-and-D wing that the Lakers really need. You could have Dylan Brooks start at the 3. He also gives you a level of toughness. I know people are going to look at it and go, well, LeBron and Brooks hate each other. Yeah, so did Lance Stevenson in LeBron. LeBron's played with several guys that, he wasn't fond of, right? And they were great for him, right? So not really worried about that. Dylan Brooks is great. Honestly, I think you could probably get, I'd rather probably package something better than Dylan Brooks for your first. Like I'd try to get like a slightly younger guy, right? Like, can you go get like a Miles Bridges, right? Like from Charlotte. They are going to need to make some decisions in that regard, right? Like, can you go get somebody like that? Just a big, strong fit. He's basically Rui, but can play defense, right? Like, I'd probably rather give up a first and do like a heavy trade for something like that. But considering that there's potentially the 7-team trade, like I wouldn't hate it. Like if it happened, I wouldn't be like, oh, I can't believe the Lakers ponied that up. I'd be okay with it. I just like if you're gonna like Lakers are just so limited on assets, right? Like they have to get this right. It has to be something like damn near perfect. You know what I mean? Like um Chris Boucher, as far as like my opinion, I'd personally stay away from him. I mean, you got like Koloko and stuff like that. I just think you can bring him in. I mean, Chris Boucher had trouble getting minutes on the Raptors, and they're awful because he's just inconsistent. So, like, yeah, he just kind of is like Koloko. I'd rather just stick with Koloko and have him be your third big. I think Lakers need a more established backup center personally. Um, so me personally, I would stay away from Chris Boucher. The trade, I don't hate the trade. If you can pull something like that off, you also free up a roster spot too, so you could sign a guy. Yeah, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't be against it. But appreciate you. Thank you everyone for super chats. Let's get back to the regular chat until some more trickles in here. Probably gonna go about 20 more minutes and then skate on it because, like I said, it is about to be 2 a.m. where I'm at. I punish myself for all of you, right? I punish myself because I love you guys. Thank you. Thank you for hanging out. I mean, seriously, we're having a good stream, especially as late as we're doing it. I'm surprised we got so many people. So hit that like button quick. I don't think I've mentioned that yet. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Trying to close in on 28,000. So hit that subscribe button for me. That'd be wonderful. Get 28,000 subs. Beautiful. We need Andrew Wiggins. I am right there with you. 1,000%. We need Andrew Wiggins or somebody like him. What's going on, Beast Mode? Appreciate you being here. They're saying 7-team trade is just consolidating all the draft day trades, but then why is it taking so long? So I saw that too. It doesn't add up and make sense because the Warriors weren't involved in any of those things, right? So like, I don't know, like it can't just be that. There has to be other moving parts, right? Now, again, on like the Lakers side of things, you know, the Timberwolves side of things, right? There's a couple of those teams that it could just be draft considerations, but also the pick, if I'm not mistaken, the 36th pick didn't come directly from the Nets, right? It moved to like 3 different teams and then went to the Nets, right? Or went to the Lakers. So I don't know. I don't know if that really adds up, right? And not just that, but the Lakers, like, you would think Chicago would have to be a part of it too, because Lakers like took their pick, traded up into Chicago, and then traded the Chicago pick to move up to the 36th pick. So again, like Chicago would have to be involved for it to just be the 36th pick, which is why I'm only relaying the information that was presented, and then I giving my opinions and stuff. I don't know. It's not like again, I'm not an insider or anything like that. Just a fan. I'm just relaying the information, but it doesn't add up. Is my issue. The reports that came out about the Lakers just essentially getting the 36th pick, it doesn't add up because again, like Chicago would have to be involved because the pick we traded our pick to Chicago's pick to get to move up to the 36th pick, so on and so forth. So it's just, I don't know, it's just strange. There's got to be more to it than what there is. Sucks we won't see Adu. Man, I was looking forward to him postering someone. Yeah, so the Arrow, dude, the Arrow, he's still recovering, and I think it's more precautionary because supposedly he was ready to go. I think it's more precautionary. He's recovering from the injury that he suffered, which is part of the reason he fell where he did. So better safe than sorry. I mean, I really wanted to see him too. I really like our summer league team, but it's last thing you want, he might end up actually playing a role. He's got NBA ready defense, so he might end up playing a role. Agreed, we do need Wiggins. Dalton, first pick swap for Ryan Dunn. I would love Ryan Dunn. He's young, 6'8", versatile defense. Herb Jones, I really want Herb Jones. Any latest Lakers rumors? Just that they're considering Al Horford and the 7-team train. Other than that, I don't know. Ryan Dunn's pretty good. Like he is pretty. The dude's pretty good. Defense, Tyler. What the f are we going to do? Again, we got to wait for the end result. It's like I said yesterday, right? When I was doing the live stream, and you and me were talking about stuff, right? Like we got to wait for the end result. Right now, as it stands, no pun intended, right? Like right now, I have my concerns, right? But I'm not really worried about it during the regular season. During the regular season, they'll be fine. Lakers will still win 55 games, still be, top 3 seed. Worry about it come playoff time, right? When you're playing against the best teams, you got to get stops. Games are tighter. Like there's going to be things that are going to have to change for sure. What could we trade Austin Reaves for? I mean, it really depends on what his value is to the league, right? I mean, obviously our value as fans are always going to be screwed compared to the rest of the NBA, right? I think judging off of Desmond Bain, right? I think they're very comparable. I think Desmond Bain does some things better than Austin Reaves. I think Austin Reaves does things better than Desmond Bain, right? I think that they're very comparable. So I think like pick wise, asset wise, you could probably get something pretty similar. It'd probably be closer to like 2 or 3 firsts, maybe. But the problem with Austin Reaves and trading him now is his contract is so cheap, right? His contract was great when, it was the value contract, but now it's in the final year and he's about to get paid. And now that if you did need to trade him, you're very limited on what you can get back player wise, right? Because again, you either have to add salaries to do that. So you have to convince that team to also take on those players and either waive them or cut guys or do whatever. And it just, or you have to involve other teams, so on and so forth. So if Austin Reaves, like the problem is Austin Reaves is making so little now, right? Like that's the dilemma the Lakers are in. Like before it was great, when he's on that long-term contract and you're, going about your business. But when the notes due, it's like, ooh, so it's hard to gauge. My guess is you could probably I could see something like the Lakers landing like a Herb Jones and a first, something like that for like an Austin Reaves, which I would do personally. How do y'all feel if we got both Dame and Al? So I don't want Damian Lillard just because he's going to do is just take up a roster spot this year. People, I don't think people realize, because I see a lot of people that are like, Lakers need to go sign Dame. We would be unstoppable, blah, 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 blah. Damian Lillard is not going to play this year, right? Like, I think people, I don't know if people don't know that, or they're just not, thinking about it because they're excited that Dame's available and Lakers can get him for a vet minimum. Damian Lillard suffered an Achilles tear like a month ago. So he's missing all of next year. Best case scenario, maybe he comes back with like a handful of games left and is ready for the playoffs. But realistically speaking, he's probably going to sit next year. I mean, he's contemplating whether he wants to sign with somebody now on a multi-year deal and just kind of, sit out on a contract, or if he just wants to sit out, period, and then make his decision next year. So he might not even sign with a team this year because he can't play for a year. So my problem is like Lakers, if Damian Lillard was healthy, then yeah, absolutely go get him. But he's not. So it's just like all you'd be looking to do is sign him just to have him basically stay home, right? And go through rehab and stuff. So I don't know if that's best for the Lakers is my problem. And then Al Horford. I really want the Lakers to get. I think he's really good still. I think he could potentially do wonders for this team off the bench. But more than anything, I think he'd be great for DeAndre Ayton. Great for DeAndre Ayton. I wouldn't mind Trey Murphy too. It's another one. I got a feeling Horford will unfortunately go to the Warriors. But I hope he comes to us because way better chance to win. I don't know what the Warriors do. You know what to do out. I think it really will boil down to like, do the Warriors promise him a start? Right? Like, because if you're Al Horford and the Warriors are like, hey, we'll start you, which might make sense for them. He might go, all right, let me go there because he's probably getting the same money regardless. Yes, he can help Ayton. Yes. Let's see. Morris twins. Morris twin. They're spreading fake news with Reaves and Braun hating Luka. There's always going to be some random noise that makes no sense. So you just tune it out. Let them talk. Io, DeSumo, Wiggins, and Al Horford and Melton. I would love it. I am big. I really want Io. And supposedly Chicago's shopping Io. I want Io badly. I think he's a guy that can do absolute wonders. He's just getting a good combo guard, versatile, can play some defense, hit some shots. I saw this on Instagram, and it's true. It was about Dalton and the leaps he could take. He could make the team look very better if he takes big leaps, especially on defense. I hope we keep him, man. I mean, it's really going to come down to the defense side. Like two things Dalton Connect needs to work on: consistency and then defense. If he can solve those two things, then the Lakers might not trade him. Let's see. We should trade Rui, Gabe, Max, LeBron James, and a date with Genie Bus for Giannis. Nah, but all jokes aside, we should get Rui and other pieces for a better 3-and-D, guys. Yeah, I'm right there with it. Let's see. Let's go Lakers win. Yes. Sign out Horford and trade for Whitmore. Whitmore equals Derrick Rose, Lance Stevenson, and Allen Iverson all at one player. I'm with it. Honestly, I think Cam Whitmore has potential to be fantastic. I just simmed a season in 2K with Ayton and Laravia. There we go. And they won the championship. Seeing in the future. Thank you. Whitmore is nice. Yes. I really like Whitmore a lot. Let's see. Yeah, but who did they trade the 52 and 59th pick to? I thought it wasn't any of the teams involved in the trade, is what I'm saying. Oh, is it the Warriors and the Suns that had trades for picks? Oh, okay. And maybe it was that. I thought it was somebody else. Let's see. Lakers need to trade AR. He's not worth $200 million, bro. That's my problem. I mean, just because he can get $200 million doesn't mean that that's what he'll actually sign for. Like, that's what we got to keep in mind. The only way he gets $200 million is if another team offers him that, right? Like, what team? Not many teams have the salary cap space to sign him to a $50 million a year deal, and two, like, even if they did, I think the Lakers would still like. I think he would tell the Lakers, and the Lakers could match it. I think he'll probably get around like 30 million, is what I think, most likely. Let's get Nurk from the Jazz. Hard pass, personally. Let's see. Tyler, who do you think we will give and get on the 17 trade? Problem is, I wouldn't be shocked if it's nobody. It's just the finalization of the 36 trade, like what's being presented. I think the most likely, assuming that it's not just the 36 trade, I think the most likely scenario beyond that is just it's a sign and trade where we get Cam Whitmore and Jock Lindell. Maybe it works something out to where you get Nick Richards and Cam Whitmore. That could be possible. But I don't think it's going to be anything more than that. I don't know if the Lakers will be sending out any other players. I think their end is probably already done just based on the information that's out there. I'm not happy with the DA addition. He's soft and doesn't play defense. He's good offensively, but we need defense. I understand the concerns and questions about DA. There should be those questions and concerns about DA. I think it's going to work. I think he'll be fine. Again, I could be wrong. I think he will. 7-team trade is insane. Yes, it would be the largest in NBA history. So, yes. Personally, I'm only worried about the Denver Nuggets. I agree. Denver is going to be tough, man. I've been saying that literally the last few days. Don't get me wrong, OKC and Houston are dangerous, but Denver is a team I look at and go, they can give the Lakers problems in the playoffs 100%. Like Denver worries me. I think Cam Johnson is actually going to be a better natural fit than Michael Porter Jr. was. On top of that, they got Bruce Brown back. They just signed Tim Hardaway Jr., right? Like, I think they're going to be tough. How is Brooklyn a part of it is the question. Because the 36th pick was the one that ended up going to the Lakers through various trades. Dalton Connect, future All-Star. Do you think we can get Walker Kessler as a free agent next year in 2027, whenever he expires? I believe it's next year. Or we need to trade for him. We always assume players want to come to LA, but forget taxes are insanely high. Yeah, probably not. I think that ship has sailed. I'm still all for Kessler if you can get him. He'd be a restricted free agent, and I don't think Utah's just going to let him go for nothing. So I think more likely than not, what's going to happen is they'll just sign him a new contract. DA was in schemes that didn't fit him in Portland, to be fair. I think he'll be fine on D. Yeah. He's, like I said, he's had good defensive seasons. DA has never been a negative defender yet. He's had like 2 great seasons defensively, and he's had like 2 or 3 like okay, like or good defensive seasons. He's had a couple like rough ones, but nothing like he wouldn't be our worst defender, right? We get a win in a backup center. I hope so too. We'll be an all-star next season. I wouldn't be shocked. OKC, Denver, Houston, Clips are going to be top 4. I'm not worried at the Clips at all. I think Clippers will be right where they were last year. And it's not like what do the Clippers really do? Like, okay, Brook Lopez, yeah, it's a solid backup. Right? Like, I don't think the Clippers are going to be much better than they were last year. And I think a lot of teams ahead of them got better. And I don't think the moves that they made them significantly better. But that's just me. And that's not like F the Clippers thing. I just think that's what it is. Right? Whoops. It could explain why Rob has been so silent for a majority of this free agency. Yeah, I mean, look, Rob has had, usually things are kind of quiet, right? Or you get the infamous Lakers are going to stand pat, and then 2 days later, the Lakers make a trade. Literally, there were those reports, and then the Lakers traded for Dorian Finney-Smith like hours later, and then those same reports came like after Dorian Finney-Smith traded. They were like, "Oh, Lakers are done. That's their final move," and then they traded for Luka. So don't be shocked. If the Finney-Smith trade is a sign and trade, Lakers will still have access to their MLE. Yes. So Lakers will get the best of both worlds. Something big is going down. It's what it seems like. So, and be able to get Laravia, Ayton plus someone on the BAE. Yeah. So if I made a whole video about this, breaking it down, but if Houston ends up pulling off the sign and trade for the Lakers, Dorian Finney-Smith might go down as like the greatest trade in Lakers history. Like, because you're essentially going to turn Dorian Finney-Smith into, like, let's say best case scenario is Nick Richards and Cam Whitmore, right? When all is said and done, you would essentially turn Dorian Finney-Smith into Nick Richards, Cam Whitmore, DeAndre Ayton, and Jake LaRavia. Like, that's insane. And I mean, even if you want to trace that back, right, to like what we gave up for Dorian Finney-Smith, then you're talking those guys for, 3 seconds, Maxwell Lewis, which I liked, and then D'Angelo Russell, who was going to leave you regardless and go sign with Dallas. Trade Austin Reaves for who? I mean, if you can get like a significant upgrade defensively, right, and somebody ideally youthful, plus, whatever other assets and things like that involved. Like I said, if you can get a package centered around like Herb Jones, or you can get a package around like Trey Murphy, somebody mentioned earlier, something like that, then, I think that it would make sense. Because again, it's not always about who's the best player, who's the best. It's about what's the best fit, what's the best need, right? Like, again, like you could have argued D'Lo was better than Dorian Finney-Smith, but Dorian Finney-Smith had a much bigger impact on the Lakers. Why? Because he was such a big need that the Lakers had. How do you feel about Chris Boucher on the Lakers? Personally, I'd stay away from him. I think you can get a lot of the same stuff from Christian Coloco. Let's see. Would you trade AR, Dalton, Rui, and a first for Siakam? In a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. When do you think this trade will happen? Probably the 6th, because everything, or like the 5th, maybe we'll get the announcement in like a couple days. I mean, look, we might get more details along the way, or maybe we get lucky and get the information before, but it won't be finalized until the 6th because it can't. So I don't be surprised if we don't hear anything really about it. Like, I think you'll have like the reporters kind of like keeping people like, like just basically talking about it just to kind of keep people engaged. But I don't think you'll hear like any of like the main details till, for a couple days. All right, I'm going to do a handful of questions. Obviously, super chats take priority, but if none come in, then I'm just going to go as many as I can in the next like 2 minutes. Because like I said, it's already 2 a.m. where I'm at. It's getting pretty late. So I'm ready to hit the hay here. So I'm just going to power through a couple questions and then get on out of here. What do you think we get in that 17 trade? And do you think the trade McMahon was talking about? So, well, the trade that Dave McMahon was talking about was a 3-team trade. Well, he said it was a straight trade that may involve a third team. That wants another piece from the team that is sending out the center. I don't think that fell through. I think that fell through because Dave McMahon said that it was to acquire a starting center. Well, DeAndre Ayton, you didn't sign DeAndre Ayton to have him be your backup. You signed him to be your starting center. So my guess is that probably fell through or it never existed, right? Like he didn't necessarily, like the way he phrased it was that like it was potentially there. Not that there was actually like they were actually in the middle of it, right? As far as the 17 trade, again, I don't like it could just be the finalization of the pick. It could be nothing, right? Like, it could just be kind of like the paper side of things. No, I hope not. I hope it's something that actually gets done and looks good, and we get a Cam Whitmore. But if anything, it'll be like a Cam Whitmore, Nick Richards, or a Cam Whitmore, Jock Lindell, if that gets done. What happened to Jackson Hayes? So he's a free agent, so nothing yet. He's still out there. Lakers could potentially bring him back as like your third center. Can we trade Reaves for a good perimeter defender? Can we? Sure. Will they? Probably not. Lakers Luka team, not AR. Yes. Bro, we got 0 defense, which is my biggest concern. Literally my biggest concern for the Lakers is the lack of defense. Jackson Hayes might end up coming back. He might not have anywhere else to go. Can we get a Wiggins trade? Yes. Hopefully. It just really boils down to Miami. Like, will they cave on the Lakers not giving up Connect or that first? Or will the Lakers cave on giving up Connect or that first? Which I wouldn't do because you're helping Miami a ton. It's how bad Hayes is. Can't even get a second string center. Yes, which is why I said he wasn't a starter. Got a lot of slack for that too. Now fix the bench and we're set. Yes. We still need Vando as our defensive specialist. It depends on what you get, right? Like if you go get 2 or 3 defensive, 3-and-D wings, then I don't think you need Jared Vanderbilt as bad, right? I think that's not something that is as needed. But right now, yes. We should start if we got him or we come off the bench at the 4 in LeBron's minutes. Yes, I agree. What's going on, Nate? 500 people and 32 likes. Well, I hope there's a lot more than that now. If you haven't yet, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Like I said, trying to close in on 28,000 subscribers. That'd be beautiful. Lakers need 2 centers. Yes, definitely need to go get another center. There is no massive trade. Article clearly says only picks in deal. No, the article doesn't say that. Who was it? Brett Siegel added that it might just be that if you're expecting this to be some crazy massive trade, don't get your hopes up that it might just be essentially that it's essentially just all these various trades that happen all being kind of put together. Basically for paper's sake. But there's several teams that are involved. There's several scenarios that are involved that haven't happened yet. If we get Al Horford, Cam Whitmore, sign Coffee, we in good shape. I agree. I actually wouldn't mind go get Amir Coffee too. He's probably arguably the best perimeter guy available. Let's see. Yeah, people need to subscribe and hit that like button. Stop being lazy. Thank you. Don't be like DeAndre Ayton. Okay. Don't be lazy. All right, let's do a couple more here. I'm going to get on out of here. Ayton is an underrated defender. Not enough people watching him on Portland yet. Ayton is a good offensive rebound center. That's what the Lakers need. Yes. And it's nice. You don't have to run plays for him and stuff like that. He's a guy that you just throw out there and you can just go to work. Let's see. Why is there a lizard behind you on the wall? Ayton gets by on defense, not known as a great rim protector. Tyler, you think LeBron is happy with the acquisition? I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't be. Right? I mean, DeAndre Ayton is an excellent player. He's the best center the Lakers could have gotten. If you're LeBron, you got to be happy with it. The problem is how much of the LeBron thing is actually real and how much of it is overblown, right? It doesn't help that, Rich Paul decided to release the statement that he did. I understand the frustration. I understand that he wants to make it known, but it's there's some stuff better left unsaid, right? All you did was just start a bunch of drama and unnecessary, conversations for what? How serious is LeBron about potentially leaving? I mean, look, there is an argument. Even if LeBron isn't really serious, there is a genuine argument. And look, I'm a LeBron guy. I'm a Laker fan before. I was a Laker fan before LeBron. I'll be a Laker fan after. But I'm not one of those Laker fans where LeBron is that. Get him out my I love LeBron. I'm on record several times saying that I believe LeBron James is the greatest player ever. I am a LeBron guy. I like LeBron a lot. However, I do think at this stage of his career, for all parties involved, now that we got Luka, we're heading in that direction. I do think it is best for everybody to just trade LeBron. I really, and I mean really badly, want to see a full season of this rejuvenated, ready to flip the bird to the world Luka and LeBron James for at least a season. Right? I really want to see those two for a season. Give me a full season with those two and let's see what they can do. Right? Especially with an Ayton and all that stuff. But removing my bias for a moment, I do think what's best for LeBron, for Luka, and the Lakers and everybody, I do think is to potentially look to trade him. Right? I think that is probably the best route for them. Lakers will win the championship next year. I'm with it. We need Nick Richards and Andrew Wiggins. I am right there with you. Yeah, I would really love to get Misi if they can get him. Do you think Keegan Murray would be traded? If so, would you trade for him? Probably not. Gives you the shooting. Defensively, he's not really there. I just feel like he's another Rui, right? And we kind of need more defense. And I think Keegan Murray is best at the 4, which he would have to play the 3. So I think you just kind of have that redundancy again, which is my concern. Would you do Dame on a vet minimum? I would not because he's not going to play this year. Hey Tyler, did you see that one of the 7 teams in the Kevin Durant trade? Yes, and we'll see what it becomes. I don't know if it's going to be what we think, but we'll see. How about Amir Coffee? I love Amir Coffee. You think LeBron will stay? Yes, I do. I don't think LeBron's going anywhere, but I think the likelihood is probably better than it's ever been. From no center to a legit starting center, I'm excited. Like Tyler, yes. How could you not? Right? And Ayton is probably the best center the Lakers could have gotten regardless, trade or no trade, right? Like, it just, again, you're talking about a guy that is, for all the criticisms of him, right? And all the questions of him and everything, the guy is still a 18-10 center, right? While he's lazy and has no motor and all those other things. So, it'll cost a lot to get Wiggins. Supposedly they want either connect or a first. But like I said, if I'm the Lakers, I'm not doing that. I'm not. Again, you're helping them greatly. I think we need to trade some wings. Not enough 3-and-D. Yes, agreed. We need athletic players that can shoot. We drafted Darrow. He is our wing defender. He's looked at as NBA ready 3, but he's right. He can't shoot the 3. That's the problem. I think we get Nick Richards to the Suns. He is the 3rd center now. He's like the 5th center now. Like, they have like an abundance of centers. Let's see. Yeah, but he's unlikely to go from 25% to a serviceable 35% this year. What trade? The 17 trade. There's a trade supposedly in the works. 17 trade. I would love to have Andrew Wiggins as well. Why are we acting like Ayton's going to play 82 games in the playoffs? We need Al Horford. I mean, he's going to play in the playoffs. I don't expect him to play 82 games. But he'll probably play, 65, 70 games, which is why you need a backup. We will see. Would love to have Andrew Wiggins. Agreed. Would you sign Ben Simmons and trade Vando? Personally, no, I'd stay away from Ben Simmons. And he wants to get paid. Like, he's like waiting out to like get paid. I don't think he'll take a vet minimum. I mean, to be fair, he might not have a choice. All right, let's pull this. Let's do one more page. All right, I'm gonna do this last page and get out of here. I really need to go to bed. I need to get to wake up early tomorrow. It's already almost 2:30 now. What's good, bro? I seen earlier that the Lakers were calling the Magic about Wendell Carter Jr. Yes, and another center on the Magic. Is that true or not? Yeah, I saw the same reports. Again, Lakers are just trying to, make calls, try to find centers, backup centers, guys that can play behind Ayton and stuff. So yeah, they're kind of just calling around, kind of making their rounds. They'll be motivated to play at a high level. Yes. Ayton is tired of losing. Stretch 5 are valuable. Would really help the bench. I think he is the next addition. I am right there with you. And I am now going to skate out of here. Everyone that hung out with me, seriously, thank you so much. I really do appreciate y'all. You guys are all beautiful. Everyone that gave me super chats, thank you so much. Seriously, helps me out a ton. Somebody that does this for a living, right? Very beneficial. So thank you. I appreciate you all for that. Everybody that just hung out with me and had conversations and, back and forth, whether I was able to get to your comments or not. Thank you so much. Seriously, you guys are all awesome. Glad we got our center, right? Hopefully some more moves and trades are coming. But on your way out, please, if you haven't yet, hit that like button for me, hit that subscribe button for me, all of that jazz. And I will see you all in the next one. Have a good night. Be safe. Peace.